Bienvenue à tous. Welcome to Reporters here on France 24. I'm Mark Owen. We're heading to the Mediterranean, to North Cyprus, the Turkish sector of an island split in two by a civil war in 1974. The North Cypriots bank on tourism to boost their economy, but also education. North Cyprus has 23 universities and markets itself as an ideal location for foreign students, especially those from developing nations. Corentin Beignet is from the France 24 Observers. He joins us. This reporter's film, Corentin, is really something you got from a tip-off which told you about the possible abuses of the system.
Yes, a few months ago, two Cameroonian students got in touch to tell us they had been deported from northern Cyprus, even though they had paid to study there. From amongst the tens of thousands of international students in northern Cyprus, many say they are satisfied with their situation there. But there are also some who are clearly disappointed. These are students that don't have enough money to continue their studies, sometimes not even enough to live or eat, resulting in some fairly dramatic situations. So we decided to go there to see what is happening on the ground.
That's without any delay. Watch the report then by Corentin and Erica Olivaria.
En arrivant à la Chine du Nord, la police des immigrants nous ont bloqués.
Je suis rentré au Chili pour les études comme convenu. Ils m'ont expulsé en fait.
Comme vous voyez, il y a des Camerounais, des Nigériens et bien d'autres.
Tous les sous que j'avais, ils sont partis dans le voyage et tout. Et vraiment, je ne sais pas quoi faire.
These two students from Cameroon came to northern Cyprus to get a university degree. They got in touch with the France 24 Observers because when they arrived at the airport, they were turned around and sent back with no explanation. They had already enrolled and paid hundreds of euros in fees. That should have gotten them visa-free entry to the contested territory, which was seized by Turkey in 1974 and is not internationally recognized. The island remains divided. The self-proclaimed Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus in the north, and the Republic of Cyprus, a member of the EU, in the south. What happened to the two students exposes some of the weaknesses of Northern Cyprus's highly appealing, but often criticized, university system.
So that means 0, 0. That point is not solution of that inequality, okay? And 2 minus
Students from around the world. A typical scene at universities in northern Cyprus. The official count is 50,000 foreign students in a territory with a population of just 300,000. They come from Africa, the Middle East, Pakistan, Bangladesh, to enroll in the 23 universities on this side of the island. The best known is Eastern Mediterranean University, the showcase of northern Cyprus's higher education.
Eastern Mediterranean University has 33 different research centers. One of the research centers is about electric cars.
EMU has a total of 15,000 students, 4,000 of them from overseas from 110 different countries. Many of them are drawn by the school's civil engineering program.
The international students, because they're coming from third world countries, they are very much in need of technological and science-oriented department. We are in Europe, and Northern Cyprus is making a very good alternative to Central Europe and Northern Europe countries.
Higher education in Northern Cyprus is relatively affordable. Tuition runs between 3,000 and 5,000 euros a year. 15 of the universities have degrees that are recognized in Turkey, meaning they are generally recognized in Europe. A big selling point, even if students say the overall quality of the education is not consistent. The universities aggressively market themselves to foreign students, encouraged by the territory's authorities. The education sector has been an economic boon to the isolated territory, accounting for 1/3 of its GDP, more than tourism. But the marketing operation has one element that can be problematic: the agents. Often former students themselves, they are paid a commission by the universities for each new student they sign up. Voice is a non-profit organization that tracks cases where agents have given misleading information to their clients.
Babes, how are you? You good? I'm good as well.
The majority of the experiences how people got here, when they come with agents, they tell them that, that you'll find jobs, things are easy, like it's easy to find housing, it's cheap.
And gender violence.
The agents are everywhere on social media. They make promises that stretch the truth. Many of their ads refer to studies in Cyprus, without specifying Northern Cyprus. Others mention Europe, without reminding people that Northern Cyprus is not part of the European Union. And many agencies boast about scholarships worth 50% of tuition.
So everybody gets a 50% scholarship, but then, is it a scholarship if everyone is getting 50% scholarship? I personally think that it sounds good on paper. It sounds as a good marketing strategy. And of course, there's other ridiculous things like, oh, well, this is Europe. You can move to any European country that you want to. We have spoken to some agents in the past, and they said, well, we speak directly with the parents, not really the students. And so the parents tend to believe whatever we want them to believe. But the major problem are the universities, because the universities are the ones paying the agents, and the universities are the ones who are refusing to hold the agents accountable.
One of the agents agrees to give us an interview. A PhD student, he says he does his job honestly, but he asks to remain anonymous.
I work with like 6 to 7 universities. Like any other industry, we have the good and the bad people. They lie for monetary gains. We have a lot of concern with them because, as you could see, I love education, that's why I keep studying.
Students often arrive in Northern Cyprus without even knowing the island is divided. The agent tells us he is careful to make the distinction.
If you check my Facebook, check my Instagram, you'll see my post, everything is about North Cyprus.
But some of his social media posts refer only to Cyprus, not Northern Cyprus. And in a message in 2021, he proposed a price for if you wish to cross to south, which is illegal. The agent doesn't have an explanation.
What does that mean? I think that you had people crossing to the south?
No. That because, in Cameroon, we have, or let's say us agents, we have communication, language we use for the way we talk. In many languages of traveling, you even hear someone have crossed abroad, someone have, there are so many languages. And because we do have also universities in South Cyprus, that we also do that.
But he cannot provide the names of the universities he supposedly works with in the south. Some of the agents are accused of acting as human smugglers. It costs around €400 for help crossing the Green Line, which divides the island. At certain points, it's just a matter of stepping across some barbed wire. The authorities in the southern part of the island say that more than 7,000 people with student visas from the north crossed the Green Line last year. When they arrive on European soil, they apply for asylum and are sent to this camp, where living conditions are bad, as shown in a video filmed by one of our observers.
Vous vous réveillez comme ça. Merde! Je filme l'eau et les lits à l'intérieur des tentes.
The chances of being granted asylum are small. If students end up trying to cross to the south, it's often because they've been misled by their agent and cannot make things work in the north. Stanley and Paul are from Nigeria. It's Sunday and they're out shopping, but not for themselves. They're buying essentials for students who have come to the north to study, but have run into financial difficulties.
Yeah, good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
These two students, also from Nigeria, asked to remain anonymous, worried that talking to the media could get them expelled.
The house rent is very, very expensive. £400 per month. It's hard to get food in this island. I don't think this island will be very, very hard like this. I thought this island would be bed of roses, like others say.
We'll keep doing all we can do.
The group depends on donations and helps students from across Africa.
Zimbabwe, Liberia, Nigeria, Congo, Sierra Leone, every African country.
Every African usually gets through to them.
Through our WhatsApp.
Yeah, through our WhatsApp group, and we put it there from time to time to assist. Today it is foodstuffs that we're giving out. On other days, we give out
clothes
and shoes and even cooked food.
And we also try our best to check up on them time to time
for their mental health sake.
When did you come to the island?
6 months. 6 months.
We have been able to sponsor like 4 students back to Nigeria and Cameroon. When a lot of them are passing through depression and they have nowhere to stay, they have nothing to do on the island. So instead of them to cause a nuisance on the island, they come to us, we raise funds and pay their flight ticket back to their country.
Without help, some students in financial difficulty end up dealing drugs or getting involved in prostitution. Others keep struggling. John, unable to pay tuition, had to put his studies on hold, meaning he's now in Northern Cyprus illegally. He got a job in construction, but had an accident.
Suddenly, I fell off the building. That was a 2-story building. I broke my teeth. I had a dislocation in my right hand and in my left and in my right leg also. Then I was rushed to the hospital.
All the doctors gave him was antibiotics. Foreign students in Northern Cyprus say they often face discrimination in healthcare.
Then all of a sudden, I saw the police. They took me to the prison with my injuries. My arm, they didn't do nothing. They didn't give me any injection. My experience in the prison, it was hell. It was hell.
With help from the non-profit Voice, John was able to pay his bail and get out of jail. But he could be deported at any moment. Every morning, he goes out to look for work in Nicosia's industrial zone. Finding a job could help him legalize his status.
It's not easy getting a job here because all I get every day is there is no vacancy for now, and sometimes they will ask for my numbers. This company looks like they are into animal feed.
But are you looking for like a full-time or?
Yes, yes.
And besides you, like there's a lot of people that would have come before you and stuff like that.
So let me say for now there's no full-time.
This company is used to having students in difficulty ask for work, but jobs are rare in Northern Cyprus.
I hope to get a job that could pay me probably 20 to 30 euros per day. Save up some money and go back for my master's, which is approximately 4,500 euros for a year. My main aim is to travel to Canada and have a good life for myself, to support my family and support the needy as well.
Late last year, Nigeria became the first country to issue a public warning about the abuses by agents promoting Northern Cyprus's universities. The territory's de facto education minister says he is planning to put in place an accreditation system for the agents and electronic visas for prospective students. In the meantime, the students we spoke to all have the same advice. If you're thinking of coming to study in Northern Cyprus, make sure you have the financial support you need to get through the year. And do your research yourself. Don't trust the agents.
Our reporter, Corentin Bagné, is still with us. Thank you for that insight. Great piece. This report, though, all stemming, as we said, from a tip-off to the France 24 Observers team. I'm wondering, what are these universities actually worth? You know, if you study there, is it worth the paper it's written on, the degree you might get?
Ce que nous disent les étudiants là-bas, c'est que les niveaux des universités.
What students there tell us is that the standards of the universities vary. The fact that there are 23 establishments in such a small area could suggest that the quality isn't the same. One thing that you can do and that students there recommend is check the standards of the university to see if the diplomas are recognized by Turkey and not just Northern Cyprus. This will indicate if they will then be recognized by Europe and perhaps Northern America. That can be proof of quality, but it's not foolproof. It's not the only way to check. But there is a university that is holding its own, the Eastern Mediterranean University, which you see in the report. It's one of 2 Northern Cyprus public institutions, and it's relatively well placed in international league tables. For example, between the 500th and 600th place in the Times Higher Education table from the British magazine. Another piece of advice lots of students there want to give to those who want to come to Northern Cyprus is that you need to be aware of some discrimination, notably in the medical sector. In Northern Cyprus, when you're a foreign student, you have to take an HIV test once a year. If the test is unfortunately positive, you are immediately deported. Many students also call out racist behavior from landlords and shopkeepers, something they were quite shocked by because they weren't expecting it.
Lots of red flags, it seems, from what you're explaining about how things work out. You mentioned also students crossing over from the north to the southern sector, the Greek-speaking sector, which of course is part of the EU, seeking asylum. What happens to them?
We've met many of these asylum seekers who have come from the north. We went to Pornara camp, the place where you're sent when you cross the dividing line. The people we met said they were quite disappointed because they say they were kept in this camp. Take a listen to one of them here.
I thought that when I would arrive, I would tell my story to the members of the European Union and I would be granted asylum straight away, that I would have no worries. For the moment, I can't leave the camp. I can't work because I don't have a permit yet. It really stresses me out.
This student says he's stuck because he still hasn't received the receipt for his asylum request. But even to get asylum, it can take up to 3 or 4 years. During this time, you can live in an extremely miserable situation. Cyprus is the EU country with the highest number of asylum requests per population size. The majority of these asylum requests are from people who had student visas, according to Cypriot authorities, a situation which obviously only increases tension between the 2 parts of the island.
Corentin Benet, thank you very much indeed. You can see Corentin's report again, of course, via our website, france24.com. This is Reporters on France 24. Stay with us. Most of all, do stay safe.